Welcome to your Aligned as Fuck Life podcast, hosted by your girl, Shalvika. I am a life transformation coach, a wife, a cat mom, pure generator, Enneagram 3, Pisces sign, and helping you build an aligned as fuck life is my jam. Out in this world, we believe that there are no set rules for building a life, career, and business. That we are all unique and we should be able to embrace our uniqueness in everything we do while shedding all the rules or bullshit rules one at a time. We will talk all things mindset, manifestation, healing, energetics, rituals, success, and so much more. I believe that I can have it all and you can too. Ready for an episode that will take you one step closer to your aligned as fuck life? Let's get started. Hi, and welcome to episode 50 of your Aligned as Fuck Life with Shalvika. This episode is monumental in so many ways because this is my 50th episode. I think that's a landmark in itself. B, it is my first episode in this year, 2024. And I am so excited to be sharing this with y'all. So what I want to talk to you about today is my ins and outs for 2024. I know there's a trend going on and I shared this on my reel and I just felt called to share it on here as well because I feel that I want to share the why behind so many of my ins and my outs. So that's what I'm doing. And before I dive into the actual content, I just want to tell you that my 6-week experience for the modern woman called Bloom is open for enrollment right now, and we are going to be focusing on pleasure and joy and inner child healing, and it's basically a space that I have created for you to come home to yourself, and I cannot wait to help you experience this beautiful cohort that I have created. All right, let's dive in. So I'm going to start with my ins for 2024. The first thing is rest. Oh my God, I feel all of us are kind of raised in this environment where we feel like we can rest only when we deserve it, right? Like, oh, I have worked for 12 straight months. I deserve to take a vacation. Oh, I've worked for 5 straight days. I deserve a weekend. I deserve to nap on my weekends. Rest has become so inherently attached to the work that we do, the work that we are supposed to do. And I feel that's so bloody wrong. Like I look at my cats, right? Like, and of course, like I know they are a different animal. I'm not one of those weirdos who compares one-to-one with my cats, but they rest just because. And they rest a lot. Of course, as humans, we don't need to rest that much, but we do need rest. And in this world of capitalism and patriarchy and like so much pressure that we put on ourselves to constantly do more and be more and have more, we just sometimes forget to rest, and that leads to so many issues. It leads to anxiety, it leads to stress, it leads to burnout. So rest is one of my biggest ins for 2024 because I deserve it and you deserve it too. My second in for 2024 is creation. If you've been around in this world, you know how much I love creativity. It's something that I have tried to run away from, honestly, for a big chunk of my life, but not anymore. I know that I need to create. I'm someone who creates because that's what makes me human. That's what is essence. That is what, in essence, is who I am. And so creation, I'm going to focus on creating something new. In fact, right after I record this podcast episode, I'm going to be making a strawberry mousse, and let's see how that goes. So yeah, creation, regular creation. The third is reading. You will not believe it's 10th of Jan right now when I'm recording this podcast episode. I am about to finish my third book of the year. And I am so damn happy that I'm at that space again with reading, because I was that person who used to just sit and devour books when I was a child. And the overarching theme of this year for me is going back to that, going back to my childhood and connecting with who I was, which is why creation is also, but so is reading. My next in for 2024 is pleasure. At the beginning of this episode, I spoke about Bloom and I spoke about how it's about pleasure. And the more that I have thought about this, the more I have realized how, as women, we tend to deny ourselves pleasure. We always tend to delay our pleasure. Oh, I'll do it when XYZ happens. Oh, like I saw my mom doing that, okay, always. Like she would always be like, oh, if there's, say, a cake at home, she'll always be like, oh, Shalvika, you eat first and then let Baba have. Baba is my dad. Let Baba have, and then like she'll eat whatever's left. We are so conditioned as women to be caregivers, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? To be nurturers. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But what we forget in the process is, yes, we are caregivers, but we are also setting examples for the people that we are caregiving to. So if you're raising a child, you're setting an example for that child of how they are treating themselves. And if they see you constantly denying your own pleasure, that's what they're going to imitate, especially if you're raising a girl child. And that's something that I really don't want to be. I don't want to deny my pleasure. And when I say pleasure, I don't just mean sexual. It's sexual, it's non-sexual, it's physical, it's emotional, it's spiritual. I ain't denying pleasure this year, period. The next thing that's in for me this year is slow mornings. Honestly, this used to be like if you'd met me 5 years ago and you told me that I'm going to be sitting here in this office of mine talking to people that I can't see about slow mornings, I would have laughed in your face, because I did not know slow mornings. My mornings were frantic and hectic and crazy. And the first respite I think I would get in the day is when I would come back from work. This is when I was in my corporate job, just for context. The first respite I would get is when I got back from my corporate job, which was probably 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. And I had this person who used to cook for us at that time. So I would just serve myself because I would be so goddamn hungry. And then I would plonk myself in front of the television. And that for me was when my day actually slowed at like 8:30 p.m. And when I started my business, I had that in focus. I was trying to have slow mornings and I was trying to be intentional about how I spent my mornings. But then as my business has grown, as it has evolved, I have realized that I'm kind of falling more and more into the old patterns where, I wake up and I have a million things running through my head that I have to do. And I check my phone and I check my DMs and I respond to my emails and, not anymore. I am reclaiming my slow mornings because I deserve to wake up peacefully. I deserve to wake up and have a lazy cup of chai or coffee, if that's your poison, and maybe journal and read a novel and, just sit and maybe start my workday at 11 a.m. And that's okay. That doesn't make anyone a bad professional. Let me just say this out loud if you're someone who struggles with this. The next thing that I want to focus on in 2024 is service to others. I haven't really shared my goals or my resolutions rather openly this year. My intentions, actually, I'm not going with resolutions this year. These are my intentions for this year. But in 2024, I want to serve 200 people. And I'm setting myself this goal because I know that my brain works better when I have a number that I'm working towards. Not to a point of burnout, but just because I want to quantify how and what kind of an impact I'm having on this world. So service to others is a big focus. So if you're listening to this, know that there's a lot of things coming. I'm going to be offering coaching. I'm going to be offering one-off sessions. I'm going to be offering breathwork sessions. I might do a few masterclasses here and there, but service to others is an important in for me in 2024. The next is travel. I've always loved traveling. And now that I work remotely, I can work from anywhere. But I want to be intentional in planning my travels this year, because for me, it's always like I'm very intuitive. So I'll just let me take off in a couple of weeks and then I'll go. But this year, I want to do intentional travel, because I want to be intentional about the experiences that I have. So I'm, in fact, in a month's time, I'm going to be going to London, and I'm going to spend about 18 days in London, just because, and I want to explore. I want to take my time, and I'm traveling alone. I'm not traveling with my partner. So I'm traveling alone, and I want to experience the cafes in London and what it feels like to live like a local. So yes, travel has always been a focus in my life, but this year I'm kind of doing it slightly differently, because I'm focusing more on the experiences that I get out of travel. The next thing that is an in my life is breathwork, yoga, and meditation. I have been a student of the Iyengar Yoga Institute here in Pune, where I live, for the past 6-7 months now. I have always been a yoga practitioner, but now I'm more intentional about it. And breathwork is something that I learned a couple of years ago, and it's a practice that I have kind of lost along the way in 2023, and I want to get back to it. So nervous system regulation, using these tools is a big in for 2024 for me. All right, and now comes the last in that I want to talk to you about, and I think this is the most important in: self-devotion. And I think I'm going to record another episode talking just about self-devotion, because I think it's so important. We talk about all of these things that we talk about, right? Like, what's your why, and how consistent you are, and how passionate you are, and what kind of an impact you're having. And it's, when we look at all of these, so many of them are so outward looking, right? And I want to spend this year in self-devotion. I want to spend this year in taking care of myself, because I'm devoted to me. I want to spend this year in engaging in rituals that show me, my body, my mind, my heart, my soul, that I'm devoted to me. Because I've said this before, I'm going to say this again, I am the only person who is definitely 100% going to be by my side till the day I draw my last breath. That doesn't mean others won't be there, but you can never guarantee about others, right? You can only guarantee that you're going to be there. And that's why I am the most important person for me. And that's why devotion to myself is so bloody important. So this is, I feel, my most important in 2024, self-devotion. All right, now let's talk about the outs of 2024. What am I intentionally breaking up with? The first thing is running behind the next thing. Like I said a little earlier, as my business is growing and evolving, in 2023, I found myself in this funk where I was like, what next? And that's not how I want to operate. That's not the energy I want to operate from in this year. I want to operate from an energy of calm and intuitive guidance. So running behind the next thing is definitely out the window. The next thing is stagnation. I do not want my days to blend into one another. And again, I am not saying that this is for everyone. I know there are people, I love so many people in my life who love having the same routine day after day, every single day. And there's nothing wrong with that. It works for them. They love it. And that's amazing, right? I do not thrive in stagnation. I do not thrive when my days look the same, when there is no excitement, when I'm not trying something new. And of course, I have the privilege right now, considering I have no children and I have no elderly parents that I look after. I have that freedom and that privilege that I can do with my time what I wish. So stagnation is definitely out of the fucking window. The next thing is perfectionism. I have had a lifelong struggle with this. I think one of the reasons why, even though I started this podcast a long while ago, I'm only at 50 episodes right now, is because I've always been in that funk of, oh, but this has got to be perfect. Oh, but I have got to have something to say. Oh, but and I realized that's detrimental to so much. I have so much value to add in this world and so much beauty to spread in this world that I cannot afford to be perfectionistic. So perfectionism is out the fucking window. The next is pleasing others. And again, I feel if you're someone who has an online presence, I don't know if you've experienced that. I feel as you become confident in your audience and as your audience learns more and more about you, you kind of start putting yourself in this box. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to be me. My experiment that I'm doing this year, one of the intentions that I have this year is I'm going to wear a sari for 100 days in a row. And I used to be scared of judgment, that, people are going to just... Okay, I'll tell you exactly what my fear was. I felt like people are going to think that I'm some old-ass lady, like old-ass middle-aged lady, because I was wearing the sari. Because I've heard people comment something like that. And I don't give a fuck anymore. I love wearing saris, and I'm going to fucking wear a sari 100 days this year. And I'm going to post every single fucking time that I wear a sari. So yeah, people pleasing is out the window in 2024. The next one is also very juicy. Social engagements that drain me. I feel, especially because I live in a city where I have so much family. My husband has so much family. Even with some friends, actually, it happens that I am not someone who loves drinking till 2 a.m. anymore. And the operative word here is anymore. It's because I have evolved. I have changed. At one point, that was my jam. I used to party every single fucking Saturday, and I used to be up till 4 a.m. dancing and drinking, and that was my thing. I don't enjoy that anymore. And I found myself falling more and more into this trap of saying yes because, well, I've been friends with these people for a really long time. And, how can I let go of them? Or what if they don't understand that I don't drink anymore? It's not like I don't drink, but I don't enjoy drinking anymore. Or I don't enjoy late night parties anymore. But this year, I am focusing on saying no to social engagements that drain me. Because I am not here for how shitty I feel the next day. Not just because of the drinking, but because of the late nights as well. I have never been able to handle late nights. And now I'm just accepting that and giving myself love, again coming back to self-devotion, because I cannot handle it. I'm not going to force myself to do it. So social engagements that drain me are definitely out the window. And I just want to add a side note here, because I know I've had conversations with a lot of people, and there is always this fear, right? Like if I say no, like my friends will stop hanging out with me. You will not believe I'm a part of this girl gang, and tomorrow is going to be the second time that we've met this year, which is in 10 days. We've met the second time. We are meeting for the second time tomorrow, and it's going to be at 4 p.m. So what I'm saying is, when you start saying no to the things that are misaligned in your life, things that are aligned with you automatically come in your life because you've made space for them. You have energetically decluttered to make space for things that align with you. All right. And the last thing that I am letting go of is energy suckers, forced rituals. I don't think that's grammatically correct, but anyway, there are so many things that we do in life which we feel like we have to do, but they fucking suck our energies. I am not going to do that. And I'll tell you why. We spend so many of our hours focusing on things that actually suck our energy because we feel that it's important. And I'm not saying, okay, like I'm traveling to London next month. So of course I had to fill in my visa application. And even though that was boring, I had to do it because it's giving me something in return, which is an opportunity to travel somewhere I want to go, right? That for me works. But there are sometimes engagements, like social engagements, or certain things that you have to do, like I have to cook every day, these kind of things that really, really suck your energy, but you still keep doing them because they have become these rituals. They've forced themselves into your life to such an extent that you just feel like, oh, but this is what life is, and I don't know how I could do it any other way. I am saying no to those fucking energy suckers this year. All right, that is all from me today. And I'm so excited that I shared this with you because it's exciting sharing this part of my journey with y'all. I just want to say, because I'm 50 episodes in, I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you who clicks on this podcast, who listens to this, who lets me into their life, who lets me share a small part of their life. Thank you so much. I'm so bloody grateful. You have no idea. And I cannot wait to bring all the exciting things that I have lined up in this year for you. And also, I would love to know what your ins and outs are. So after listening to this, if you feel called to sharing some with me, you can connect with me on Instagram at Shalvikap, that is at the rate SHALVIKAP, or you can find the link in the show notes and it'll take you to my page. I cannot wait to chat with you and know what your ins and outs are for 2024. And I just want to leave this on this note that you deserve whatever your ins and outs are. You deserve to choose. No one else, not your circumstances, not your loved ones, not your partner, not your boss, no one else, but you gets to choose how this year turns out to be. There may be certain things that are outside of your control. Yes, we are humans. Of course, there's going to be things that are outside of our control. But how you devote yourself to your own well-being is something that's in your hand. And I'm here cheering you on. And if you need any help doing that, I'm always here available to help you through it because I love what I do. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to do everything that I get to do. All right, I will see you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in today's episode. If you absolutely loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on iTunes so that I can keep the good stuff coming. And if you aren't already following me on social media, come soak up some extra inspiration and send me a hello on Instagram by searching at Shalvikap. Also tagged in the show notes. I love and adore you so much, and I will talk to you super soon. In the meantime, continue building your most authentic and aligned as fuck life. Ciao!